All right, welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Mostly gentlemen, let's be real. Anyways, today we're going to talk about AR builds. Specifically, we're going to talk about, well, let me hold on to it, this AR build. And we're going to go nut to butt with it. Break to butt. Yeah, so we're going to go break to butt with this rifle. I recently just built this. I had an upper kicking around in my toolbox for a while. Finally got around to building the thing out. Anyways, let's start with the break. So, my plan is to eventually suppress this gun. So, I went with break arms. This guy right here. And it takes a Plan B adapter for suppressors. I like going Plan B, direct thread, meets up good, all the good things. And I have a suppressor that I can go ahead and throw on this guy if I really wanted to. But I think I'm going to do a standalone suppressor. 2 ports out the side, 2 out the top. Now, downside to this. So, it does what I want it to do. I want it to be able to take a suppressor. But this muzzle device is a standalone muzzle device. Flashes like nobody's freaking business. You might as well be at Mardi Gras with this fucking thing. But, like I said, eventually I'm going to have a suppressor on this, flow-through suppressor, because I do not have an adjustable gas block. As you can tell, this is an M4 style rifle. So, without an adjustable gas block, I think a flow-through suppressor would be your best bet to put on this thing. Let's move down to, I put a Magpul foregrip on this. M-LOK slots on it, of course. There's probably something better, but so far I like M-LOK. I also have an M-LOK stubby that I could put on here. I just haven't done it yet. So, now, let's move down to this carry handle. Interesting carry handle. So, as you can see right here, it detaches from the upper. It's not built into the upper. So if I really wanted to, I'll get rid of this, put a scope on it, put whatever. I don't like doing that because of this gas block. It gets in the way. I don't like the fact that it obstructs my view whenever you put a scope on here and you see this guy. So I'm just going to go with your standard M4 carry handle on this. So this upper was originally, let's just go with the upper and barrel. All this here, except for the foregrip or the forearm, whatever you want to call it, was DPMS. And I took my DPMS lower and built out a completely different rifle with it than what you see here. So, with that, I took and got a Timber Creek oversized charging handle because I just like being able to grab a hold of it. I like the ergonomics of the oversized charging handles better than I do just a standard charging handle. They're too small, too big of a pain in the ass to grab, especially if you do have a rifle with an optic on here. Getting up underneath that optic, trying to grab a hold of that smaller charging handle, pain in the butt. All my ARs have gone to an oversized charging handle of some kind. Let's move to the lower. So, I put a Diamondback lower on here. Why? Because a lower is a lower. If you want my personal opinion, I went with Timber Creek lower parts, trigger guard, your takedown pins, safeties. The only thing I haven't done is tear this thing completely apart and change out the charging or the dust cover. My apologies, I called it by the wrong damn name. The dust cover, I don't think I'm going to do that. I like the way this rifle looks the way it is. And the fun part is I put a super safety in this rifle. That's the reason why your safety looks a little different than usual. We'll get into that in just a minute. That's going to take a little bit longer to explain due to you know, regulations, NFA, all the stupid things that we got to deal with. Anyways, let's carry on. So, buttstock and pistol grip. If you go to Hogue's website, well, I don't think I can say that. Hogue, you can get in a combination of buttstock, pistol grip, and I really like the feel of the Hogue pistol grips on ARs. As you can tell, they got the finger cuts out of it for you. And overall, I just like the feel of these pistol grips. So, the next thing I did is I put an Armaspec buffer tube in it, which looks like this guy. And I haven't shot it this much. I'm going to get some more videos of me shooting it. But since I switched over to this guy, I feel like recoil reduction, all the fun things feel way better, especially with this super safety in it. A lot more controllable, all the good things. So, let's see. Oh, I also went with, just because I needed a buffer tube, I went and found a buffer tube. It also came with a spring and all the Newcastle nuts and all that good stuff. But the buffer spring is from, I don't recall. Off the top of my head, who makes this buffer tube. Anyways, like I said, I went with this buffer spring. Got this buffer tube from Tapco. That's the name of it. It's Tapco. Now, let's get into this Super Safe. So, this Super Safety allows you to experience what you would experience with a machine gun, but it not being a machine gun. So, if you push this all the way through to the left, like this, it's on safe. If you push this all the way to the right, that puts you in semi-auto, and it runs just like any semi-auto would run. Now, put her right in the middle, and it basically, long story short, it's an FRT trigger, which FRT is a forced reset trigger. And you bypass a few laws because it's still mechanical for that trigger to get reset. Now, I'm going to show you what I mean by that. So, you're going to make sure it's charged and pull the trigger. Okay? Now, typically, like you saw before, whenever I ran it through semi-auto, you charge it, you can come off of it, you can feel that trigger reset, and then you can go about your business using it as semi-auto, right? So, if you watch, still holding that trigger to the rear, did you see that slight movement? That trigger reset. So I can pull it again, so that the mechanical advantage on the inside, I don't know how in depth I can go on how this force reset trigger works on YouTube, but we'll figure that out at a later date. Right now I'm going to be as informative and vague as I possibly can. It still pulls the trigger, and as I said, you can see that trigger reset. And I'll show you in a video, once I get the video made, or maybe I've got one already, what that does exactly, and hopefully a clip that I had. But as I said, as you see this thing charge, you see it forcibly reset that trigger. So put it back on semi mode. Can't pull the trigger because it already has been. So there we go. Pull the trigger. You don't see it reset. I gotta reset it. Okay? Just like that. Now, it's got to be charged. Put that guy in the middle, pull the trigger, and you see, try to keep my finger out of the way. Every time I charge it, you see that trigger reset on its own. See right there? Pull the trigger. Pull the trigger. Hopefully my finger is not in the way. We'll figure it out whenever I edit this video. But that is the gist of this Super Safety. Put it on safe, semi, and if you get it right in the middle, that is your Burt button. So that is my latest and greatest build. I'll probably do another video on this rifle once I get that little stubby put on the front, once I figure out what suppressor I'm going to go with, all the things. So in the comments, tell me what you think of this build and what you would do different with this build. So far, I'm pretty happy with it. I got a couple of more builds in the pipeline that I'm going to show you guys. Hopefully you guys have some good feedback. Tell me what you think. And maybe if your suggestions are good enough, I'll implement some of them on my own, test them out, and see how they run. But with that said, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you like what you see. Of course, what's your favorite build? So tell me in the comments what you think your favorite build is so we can test them out. And as always, we'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.